awkward level 2 because we are recording and it's just been awkward.
I hope.
कहीं तो कुत्ते भौंक रहे हैं यार.
I think we should wait for her. Meanwhile, I can have my sandwich.
We were just chit-chatting for like 15 minutes at that time. You were focusing on the chit-chat. Now we are starting the recording and you were like, ab sandwich khate hain.
I was having it simultaneously, yeah. But I was just scared to not to miss any of the important conversations.
Adi, you are editing this now. Put this, put this as a starting bit and then continue the conversation.
This will be our last project together.
Okay. Hi. So we recently released a short film called Rosh. If you haven't seen it, go check it out before the 20th because we're gonna take the film down for the festival circuit and it's released for a limited period of time. So today we're gonna have a conversation about the film and how this film was made with the team of Rosh. We have with us. I'd like to introduce Rahul Raina, who's the actor who's carrying the whole film on his shoulder. We have Aditya Raut, writer, director, editor, cinematographer. We have Shubhank, he's the sound designer and he also did the background score with 2 more people. We have Kirti Soni. She's the writer of the film. She has written the screenplay of the film along with Aditya Raut and she is also the second assistant director. We have Sakshi with us. She is the first assistant director and she also did productions for the film. So hi, after an hour of technical errors, how are you guys doing? How's everyone?
We are good.
Now
we are good.
Yeah, now we are doing fine.
Now we are doing fine after all the camera errors and sound errors.
Yes.
So let's
इतना error तो film के time पे भी नहीं आया था, man.
Film के time पे क्या आया था? Okay, let's discuss that. So I'd like to start with Adi. When did this idea struck you?
So we had to adapt a short story for an assignment, and I was looking for short stories which will be like minimal settings and lesser characters, which we can pull off nicely and even on a smaller level. And then I stumbled upon this short story by Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart. It is a single setting short story which is like 2 main characters and 3 supporting characters. I read it and I was like, the assignment will be a thing. The assignment will be get done, but I really want to make this on a nice level, quality level, which I can really say many things in that, like by adapting that or by taking the niche core of the film and then adding my views also and my whatever the things are intrigued and my perspective and the things I really wanted to tell through using it like a device to tell my story too. So I read this in like around the first week of December. I started working on it, and then in that process I realized that okay, so yeah, I am deciding to do it for a short film on a nicer level. But the thing was like as I was going and exploring the story in a deeper way, I was analyzing it. I was like, okay, so this is like kind of a very big thing I am going into. Because the story was so complex, you can literally dissolve the story like a salt in water. You can make anything out of it. There are endless interpretations have been made of this story, endless analysis, endless decoding have been done by big people. And I was like, man, if I am making it, I have to make it wisely. So I took some time. That was December. I wrote the story voiceover as in even the original story is in narration. So the treatment was very well decided since the first. So I wrote my adaptation, my story, and then in the Jan ending, Kirti and I sat in a library. In few hours, we were ready with the screenplay. Why few hours? Because by that time, the time was our enemy.
You had to execute the film as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, we have to do that because then there were many other things.
So you first wrote the whole monologue by yourself. You finished writing the monologue, and then you sat with Kirti to finish the screenplay. So Kirti, what was that process like? Right, I guess this was this the first time you're writing a screenplay, or you have done it before? And if what was the how was the collaboration with Adi, because he already had a monologue, the sound of the film, and
Yeah.
now you just had to create visuals, which is more of
Yep.
like you just had to put visuals to what is written. And what was that process like? How was the collaboration with Adi?
So the first thing is when he narrated it to me, the monologue.
Mhm.
The first thing I thought about is that we have a monologue, but the screenplay can't be the same as a monologue. Like what he's saying can't be shown. Then there
Shown.
is no sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then there is no sense in making a film.
Mhm.
Then you just go and act. You
Mhm.
know, a monologue.
Mhm.
But and we wanted to show much more through scenes, through frames.
Mhm.
So we sat and then we decided that we have a internal conflicts of
Mhm.
him.
Mhm.
How to show it externally?
Mhm.
That is what we decided,
Mhm.
and that is how we came up with ideas,
Okay.
which I don't want to put right now. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's in the film,
Mhm.
and that is how it went. And
Mhm.
I have wrote some screenplay for myself, and they are not yet out.
Okay.
But yeah, this process was totally different for me, but because it was his vision,
Mhm.
it was not my vision, and I had to go into his vision, and then I had to decide, okay, if this is working or not, and is he
Okay.
satisfied with it or not.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that way.
So
So it
the
went
Adi,
pretty
sorry,
well.
okay. So Adi,
No, no,
do
it's
you
fine.
think that you wrote the monologue in how many days? A week or something like that? Because I remember you narrating it to me way back.
Yeah.
I do
This kind
remember.
narration
Don't
it
laugh.
was.
Continue.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I wrote this voice monologue in 4 days. It took me 4 days to write
Okay.
it.
Okay. So no, my question was actually, so did Kirti bring an objectivity to the monologue itself? Because but you had objectivity because you just worked for like you just started working on it. But were there any changes adapted like to make it to fit the screenplay in, or to fit the monologue into the screenplay, or it was just organic, or did you tweak the monologue, you tweak the
Yes,
screenplay
yes.
and back and forth?
Yes, yes.
How was that?
There was a lot of tweaking. As Kirti said that, I was very much immersed in it. I was
Mm-hmm.
kind of, at a point I started, romanticizing, but,
Hmm.
Kirti said this one beautiful point that we can't show the same things what he's saying. We
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to
yeah,
show
yeah.
the, there's a thing called show don't tell, which we
Hmm.
always try to do
Hmm.
with screens, visual
Hmm.
medium. And at that time then, when we were writing it, there was a
Hmm.
lot of cutting down of the voiceover, which
Hmm.
was like shown, the things which were shown was
Hmm.
cut down, everything.
Hmm.
So now, so if you see the film now, whatever the things are shown, and
Hmm.
wherever there is silence, the voiceover is totally cut down, because there's no point in telling it.
Okay. So
That
did you
happens.
take these decisions in the edit as well, that okay, over here my frame is saying the story, so I can just remove this line out and you can just watch it and you'll understand what's happening? Did you take that? Did you do that?
Yes, yes, there was a tweaking, but not a lot of tweaking,
Okay.
because screenplay was kind of organic. It worked for editing.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting happened in a very improvising
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
But
yeah.
while editing, there was not a lot of tweaking with voiceover
Hmm.
and visuals. So this
Hmm.
had to be cut down. A small nits and bits, but not
Okay.
nothing much.
Okay. So now the whole
Hmm.
film is working on, like, it's just a voiceover, and then the we see the visuals. But the soundscape of the film is so rich that it's not just the voiceover which is working out. We have Shubhang, who's the sound designer of the film. He did a great job. So I know
Thank
how
you.
the film shoot was going on. He mentioned the thing in the live session we did yesterday as well. So I'm sure that there were not a lot of sounds which were recorded on set, like properly on a recorder. Were they? Like, did you guys record sound separately on set?
No, no,
No,
no, no.
right? So, like, major part of the thing is created by you sitting in Jaipur, right? How
Right.
how did that
Yeah.
work out?
So basically, when Adi sent me the film, it was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely raw, and
Yeah.
they just had Folly,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. I somehow I related to the film,
Mm-hmm.
and I somehow picked up the empty spots where we actually need to,
Mm-hmm.
fill it up, and we need to give it a nice shape,
Mm-hmm.
which could, help the audience to connect to the movie easily. it all just happened automatically. I actually did not put in much efforts, in the sense brainstorming was not an essential part from my side.
Okay.
Because I somehow related to the film very
Mhm.
easily, and I loved it. I loved his work. So yeah, it was all very smooth,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
it was fun because I am a big time Kashyap's fan, right? And the thing that I like about his films is that they are very raw. And in fact, Aditya and I, we were talking on call long time back, so we were discussing about it, that how we both admire the director, and the raw elements of the film, the locations and everything, the simplicity attracted me, and somehow it pushed me to create the music. So yeah, it was very smooth.
So there is this one part where he says that like a major chunk of the film is that the character is bothered by the sound. There's a sound which he is hearing,
Right.
and
Right.
this can like go to any extent that the sound can be very annoying to the audience as well, or it can just be there and be annoying enough for the character to do something he's doing in the film, right? So like
Right.
that particular sound, like what was that like? Did you go back and forth, or it was just you just felt ki this sound is right and it worked for both of you, like you and Adi?
I was looking for something, some midpoint, actually, because actually, if you will increase the volume of that sound, or if you will increase the velocity of that sound, that might be annoying for the audience at one point of time. And that sound was so much effective that while I was working on the project, I was done with it. I had shut my laptop. I was doing something else, and that was still running in my head.
Oh yeah.
It was that effective, and I'm being honest, like, yeah. So I just came across that sound somehow, and I thought that, yeah, this is the right thing that I need to do right now.
Okay, and the things you created, just when the film starts, and there's a small like montage of he's making the tea, he's smoking and making the tea, and there is a lot of things happening outside,
Right.
and the whole ambience is it's there, and then the sound of the created sound drops down, and the monologue starts. How did you create those, like that whole thing, like the sound of the kids and other things? Did you go out and
The
record?
soundscape.
Because
I guess
okay, yeah.
I got all of that from Aditya's end itself. That
Oh,
was
okay.
part of the that was part of the folly, and so I just did the essential sounds,
Okay.
and
Okay.
folly was given.
Okay. Now coming back to the visuals. Okay, so you wrote the script, and you were like, we have to shoot on how many locations?
There were three major locations.
Huh.
One was the house, second was the lake, and third was his village. And there was also fourth location, sorry, which was the city, his day out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So four locations, like four large locations. Obviously, there were sub locations in that where he's roaming and going here and there, but four larger locations.
So in the budget you had, and Sakshi being the first assistant director, how did you manage to get all the shots and everything? Because literally you guys had no time. You were running, and he wanted a location where there's a boat leaving in the frame, where the girl is sitting and everything. How did you manage to do that?
So,
Uh,
talking about
yeah.
location scouting,
Uh-huh.
it was like a mess. Okay, like we had to scatter our teams. We had to like start shooting in like 2 days, and we like Aditya was okay. Like 3 of you guys just go over here, and 3 of you guys go over there. So there was Kirti and me
Okay.
and one more Suryansh, and we were just scouting for the place where the area where the boat goes and all. That was the one that we were searching for, and then there was Adi and Nidhi and all people who were in our area, so they were scouting over there.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
So
And
even the scouting was like divided. Like half of the
uh-huh.
people were scouting that location, and half of the
Uh-huh.
people were scouting this location.
Uh-huh. And what
Yeah.
happened on shoot? Like you shot on a railway station, and the other place was also a public place where the whole quick montage happens between the guy and the girl. Where was that? Where was that? The lake, the water body. Sorry.
That is in Borai Khari.
Okay.
So yeah, and also I want to share this one more experience that we were supposed to shoot that scene the next day as well, because the first day the actress, like the same actress, could not join us, and then
Okay.
then the next day we go to the khadi, and the khadi was flooded, so we
The
had to
khadi was,
even change
sorry.
the shot. Flooded. It was
Oh,
flooded.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the khadi was flooded, so we had to, and we had it all decided, where the light is gonna come from, and where are we gonna place the actors and stuff like that. And then yeah, it was flooded, so we had to change the whole thing, which so even the shoot got delayed a lot,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Coming back to the actor, how was it? How was working on a film where you had a flooded khadi and you just had to run here and there and do your performance and make the film you want to make?
It was actually amazing because uh, as my team Shubhank and Aditya, I also appreciate raw filmmaking a lot because it gets you on your feet quickly. You have to do stuff. You don't have a lot of time to rehearse and then do. So it sorts of puts you into an uncomfortable and vulnerable place from where a lot of good things can come out, and also from where things can go bad.
Yeah.
So that is a risky spot. But then again, if you try hard enough, and if you've practiced, and if you have done your homework and stuff, and if you have a great team like that, and if you have a great narration from the director, and you have already gotten into the headspace of his character, then things become easy, and then you start liking the process because you just have to go there. Okay, the camera says roll, and you have to shoot, and then it is cut, and then again you take to the next location, and then chalo, let's again action and cut.
What helped you
So,
in going
yeah.
into the skin of the character before? Like, I know you didn't have much of a time, but what helped you in becoming this character who is doing a bunch of things which I guess you wouldn't do in your life, hopefully.
Right. Yes, I would not. So, as I said, the first thing was the narration from the director, and how passionate and how with the intensity that he described to me the character and the whole story. So, and it took me a little time. It took me a little while to actually get into his headspace and actually understand what the character was thinking, and why he could do what he was doing. So yeah, it took me time, and I asked him a lot of questions in the first meet itself. Kriti was also there, so yeah, I did ask him a lot of questions, and then he clarified each and every one of them. And I had a few doubts, but then slowly I got into it, and I could see how he could do the things that he was doing, and because what Aditya had written and what the story is based on, I think a lot of us, somewhere a part of us, is into that space. In a lot of us share the traits of that character in our little space, in our little section of the head.
And not to that extent, I hope.
Yes, obviously, yeah, not to that extent. But if we take, so yeah, that is where my role comes in, that I have to take that section and intensify it, push it to the extreme, and then imagine what it would be like if I were in that headspace, and if I really were facing those things. So I went into my own memory bank, and I drew up from those experiences. And I had seen, and I had read after Adi narrated me the script, and I heard the brief. I actually read Edgar Allan Poe's The Story, upon which the entire film is based.
Yeah.
So I read it. I had also seen a few films here and there from the past, and I had my own experiences. So all of this, from bits and pieces, I drew up my experiences, and then I drew my inspiration, and then it all worked out in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So two things. We have a really less time. So two things. One which I mentioned yesterday, सतह पे तो सामान्यतः का नकाब पहनकर निकल पड़ते हैं, अंदर सिर्फ मतलबी जहर भरा होता है. That's my favorite line from the film. What is going on in the director's head while writing this? And one more thing, the favorite shot of a lot of people is Rahul breaking the bulb in that. So quickly mention that story and a quick word about how the process was from everyone, and then we can wrap this up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So when he is saying सतह पे तो सामान्यता का नकाब पहने निकल पड़ते हैं, पर अंदर सिर्फ मतलबी जहर भरा होता है. That time it's like, whatever we write or whatever we produce like through our minds. It's like our own experiences and our own perspective through which we look upon the world. And it was like articulate in a very gist. It's like the pretentiousness of the world I'm talking about.
Yeah.
How we where even me, it's not like I'm talking about others, even myself I take in consider in that sense only, in that dynamic only, like how our world has become and how we have to wear different masks to wherever we go. We cannot, it's like the illusion of ourselves we reproduce in if in front of others, not like the real natural realistic state. So that on that I wanted to I commented, that was on that thing the comment is the thing is. And speaking about the long take, it's like 1 minute 10 seconds ka take. And so the thing was like we had this location planned already, but the date when we were gonna shoot it became quite a struggle for the crew, because they were not able to come on that date. And I was like, I cannot compromise with the location, because location was playing a big part. Even I'm making this film with totally low budget, low as in like no budget, but there are some things which we cannot compromise at all. We need that thing, the essence of that. And that's how we see the essence we see in the film. Okay, so I was like, I called up Rahul. I was like, let's go, we are only two of us, let's see whatever it goes. And let's see, and then I went to the location. We shot a few shots, and then there was this main point where we had to shoot this main first, his first breaking point, where he is having a mental breakdown first time. And that show that there even at that time, it is not like, it's not like it was like a crucial part. It's not like he's gonna come in some aage ka part of the film. So I had to be very peculiar with it, even if I'm having so much of limitations, and limitations are where are where creative things happens. So what happened, I was just playing around with the camera, finding shots, because I had only one light, one source ka light, that was 200 watts ka bulb. And I cannot go with a lot of cuts, because lighting continuity and all that things matter, and the footage of quality also decreases. So I was just looking around in the viewfinder of the camera. I was roaming around. I was like, okay, so this can be happening, that we stay with the character whatever he's doing, and that way we can engage our audience through it. We whenever we cut, it's like we are getting audience को थोड़ा सा बाहर ही आता है, engagement का level थोड़ा कम होता है as compared to long takes. So I just told Rahul, just take a rehearsal, let's see how it looks. And Rahul did his thing. He threw some things and all improvised, by the way. And it's Rahul's like intelligence, man, crazy. And then I was like, no, now this should end in a bang, And then I was holding the camera, पीछे button था bulb का. So I went, we choreographed it that way. So I went back. He's coming on my face, ऐसा. And then I went back. I was holding this. ऐसा पीछे देखता हूँ. And as soon as he does this, I just switch off the light.
Okay.
That was a
great way of making films. Very fun, like really fun. I hope you guys had fun. And if you guys have to say anything, last words, how was the experience? Quickly, how was the experience of making this film in the way you guys made this film? Because the output is beautiful and people are really liking the film. I hope we get more great responses. So I hope you guys had fun in this session, and I hope people who are watching this got to know something about filmmaking, got to learn something about from all of us. So this was fun, and everyone is silent, and this is very thanks for speaking, man.
I was about
okay, yeah, say yeah, Shubham.
Adi, please carry on.
Continue.
So yeah, basically I would just want to say that Aditya is a very humble person. He's very cooperative also, and it was fun working with him. Plus plus Rahul, I have seen him more than I've seen my own face while I was working on the project. And right now he looks so sincere, chashma laga against the character. Overall, it was a fun project, and I've done rom-com and I've done drama, but this was something like, this is my kind of project, to be very honest, and I loved working on it.
We had fun, and let's keep hoping for the best for the film, because after this we are going for a festival circuit. And thank you so much for doing this at 9 in the morning, and I hope you guys had fun. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Vidar.
Yes,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Thank
Vidar.
you.
Have a good day.
Take care.